Thank you for joining us on today's ESA webinar, POTS Replacement for Commercial Elevators. My name is Ana Magallon, and I'm one of the marketing specialists for ESA, and I'm excited to lead this webinar today. Before we dive in, I'd like to provide some tips for those of you joining us on your first ESA webinar. Welcome. You will be muted for the duration of this session, but that doesn't mean we don't want to hear from you. If a question or comment comes to mind at any point during today's session, click the Q&A icon at the bottom of your screen, and I'll ensure we save some time for your questions with our experts today. We will also be recording this webinar so you can rewatch the on-demand session and share it with your colleagues. Tomorrow, you'll receive an email thanking you for your attendance today with a link to the recording. We at ESA realize your time is valuable, and we appreciate you spending some of that time with us today. So, without further ado, I'd like to hand it over to our professionals. Today we have Tom Worthington, Director of the Dealer Program, and Cole Watson, Marketing Specialist in the Dealer Program. All right, take it away, Tom.
All right, thank you so much. And thanks for everybody for joining. Today we're going to go over elevator phone monitoring and how it's trending towards cellular, and really how integrators can take advantage of a new revenue source. So definitely excited to come back and talk about what's new in the elevator world. Just to give you a little bit of background about myself, my name's Thomas Worthington. I'm the Director of Dealer Sales here at Kings 3. Been in the elevator industry most of my life. I'm part of the ASME A17 Emergency Operations Committee that writes the elevator code specifically for elevator phones. And also I'm a licensed elevator technician. There's my contact information and my email. You can always reach directly out to me if you have any questions about our dealer program or any of our specific solutions that we have as well. And just to kind of give you an overview of what we're going to be talking about today, we're going to dive right into the current state of the elevator industry, go over its growth and the telecom trends affecting integrators like yourselves. So a lot has changed. It's a good time to be in the elevator industry. There's a lot of code changes, and there's a lot of new technology. So it's good to get a better understanding of what the code requires and what kind of opportunities there are. Secondly, we're going to go over how elevator code requirements impact the elevator communications market. As I just said, a lot of new code requirements, and we're going to go over all of those. Third, we're going to go over what kind of solutions from a technology standpoint are viable to satisfy the market demand. And fourth, we're going to go over how Kings 3 can help integrators like yourselves take advantage of industry trends to generate RMR growth. So a lot of opportunities for recurring monthly revenue, and we're going to kind of go over that. And then fifth, we're going to go over some other opportunities to grow RMR with your existing customers. So we got a lot to fit in a 45-minute presentation. But let's just start, from a 10,000-foot level. Maybe some of you are not so familiar with the elevator industry. Just to give you some facts about the elevator industry. The North American elevator market was valued at $24.38 billion in 2023 and predicted to reach $38.56 billion by 2030. And within that, the U.S. market makes up the majority of it. And the U.S. elevator market makes up about $19.4 billion of that, with a projection of $29 billion by 2030. And currently, there's approximately 33,800 new elevators installed each year in the United States, and that number is expected to grow to about 40,000 by 2029. So that's important to note. The new construction market is really good within the United States, and there's a lot of new elevators coming into the market each year. Overall, there are just over 1 million elevators in the United States. But you can, clearly see, within another 5 years, you'll probably be up to 1.2 million elevators in the United States. But just overall, a lot of elevators, and a lot of them are still connected to traditional phone lines. So kind of giving you an understanding of the total addressable market and just how many elevators there are within the United States. And, within the United States, more and more people are reliant on mobility and transportation than ever before. The average person is, very reliant on an elevator at some point in their day. The average elevator carries 20,000 people per year. That's 80 people per day. Combined, elevators in the US make an estimated 20.8 billion trips per year. So lots of opportunities for people to get stuck in an elevator. At Kings 3, we've compiled our data, and we estimate there's roughly 350,000 elevator entrapments per year. And I don't know if anybody has been stuck in an elevator, but it's not a fun experience. And so yeah, not only is elevators being used a lot, people are getting stuck in elevators, and obviously that emergency phone within the elevator is pretty important. So, just to give a brief overview of the code, what does the code require? We'll go over, these are some of the basic elevator codes as it pertains to the phones that have been around for years. And we'll ramp up and start talking about the brand new code that just came out, which requires video and text, and is a very radical change. But the A17, the ASME A17 code regulates the requirements for commercial elevators. And typically what's required for the emergency phone is that some sort of hands-free device. Usually the phone must be ADA and ASME compliant. So usually you'll have a push button and a speaker and a microphone. And basically the call must go to a 24/7 live authorized personnel only. The code states that no automated answering machine can answer it, and the code also states that the call must be answered within 45 seconds. Now, when an operator answers a call, they must be able to identify the location of the elevator without voice communication. So the operator must know the address of the elevator, and if there's multiple elevators in the building, they must also know the exact elevator that the passenger's in. All the emergency phone equipment within elevators must have at least 4-hour talk time battery backup. That's been a requirement for years. That would apply to every facet of the emergency communication system, the phone in the elevator, whatever kind of communication equipment you may have to get the call out. And then in the 2000 code and higher, there's now a local alarm that to alert passengers that the phone is not working. So the A17 2010 code brought in supervision requirements. They're local supervision requirements. And there's devices that monitor the phone line. And if there's a communication failure, there will be a light that flashes at the main floor of egress. So that's how the code has been until the 2019 code. And the A17 2019 code, like I stated before, it's a pretty radical change. And this will start to introduce video and two-way text messaging requirements. And those would be in addition to basically everything that I went through already. We're going to get into that on the next slide. But just to keep in mind that the code, all these requirements that I just mentioned are still required in the new code. So for the A17 2019 and 2022, the additional code requirements that are now in effect, and these would apply to any elevator that must meet this A17 2019 code. So with this, the new A17 code now requires video and two-way messaging in addition to the audio requirements. And the basis and the history behind why this came into effect was a number of things, but one of them was to eliminate false dispatches, and also to provide complete ADA compliance for elevator communications, and provides a whole nother level of security in situations where audio isn't sufficient or compromised. So this code really helps people that might be hard of hearing, maybe with speech difficulties, and we're going to go over how this code really works. But currently, the code's currently adopted at the state level, and currently 20 states have adopted the ASME A17 code, or the International Building Code version. So typically this would not be retroactive and go to every elevator in those states. It would only be enforced on new construction elevators or elevators that are going through a significant modernization. And then typically the video and the hardware, everything that is provided for the phone, the camera, the text messaging, usually all that equipment currently is being manufactured by the and installed within the elevator fixtures. So these devices will come already built into the elevator. All three components, the audio, the video, and the text, must be monitored by the same authorized personnel. So obviously this code, I just went through a lot. The code is a big change. We can start with the call center. The pressure on the operator is much more. They have to not only answer the call, but they have to be on a computer with software, and they have to be able to enable the video feed from the security camera. And they also have to be able to initiate text message questions. And if you can see a little bit into that graphic, you'll see that there's yes and no questions. So the operator will be able to ask yes and no questions. Maybe they'll see that no one's talking, so they might see someone that is in the elevator. They may ask them a yes and no question, like, are you stuck in the elevator, or do you need assistance? And there's yes and no buttons in the elevator that the passenger will be able to press yes or no. The video camera is required to capture the entire cab floor. So again, the idea behind that is to verify if someone's actually stuck in the elevator. The operator may get a false call. Here's no audio. They can check the camera, verify no one's in the elevator, and then they can terminate the call without dispatching fire rescue and without worrying about somebody being stuck in that elevator. So this code, like I said, if you're in one of the states that have this, you may come across this more and more. And if you're in a state that doesn't have this code, you might, this might be the first you're hearing about it, and it might be adopted in your state down the road. If you go to the Kings 3 website, we have a whole web page just on code requirements broken down by all 50 states. So outside of the code requirements, really the biggest trend still going on in elevator phone monitoring is the trending away from POTS lines. We are, unlike other industries like fire and burglar alarms, we are very, very behind as an industry in trending away from traditional phone lines. But with traditional phone lines phasing out, the communication industry is flooded with alternative solutions. For general business communications, internet solutions such as voice over IP are an ideal fit to save money. However, for emergency communications like elevator phones, or maybe area rescue communications or swimming pool phones, where compliance and reliability are crucial, options are much more limited. And so, what are your options? Well, outside of a traditional phone line, there's a lot of people that are pitching a voice over IP solutions. And then there's also a lot of cellular solutions. We're going to kind of go over those. But before we kind of go into which technology to go to, let's just focus in on, what's the immediate impact of this trend, especially to building owners and people that own buildings with elevators. Obviously, the cost of analog phone lines continue to increase. Definitely varies by location. But below we have our own prospect data and shows on average over 125 per line. And we've also seen phone bills as high as $800 per line. But you'll see a steady increase from 2014 until currently. We're almost up to $158 on average for a commercial phone line. Obviously, these costs are going to keep going higher as the phone companies are kind of moving slowly away from supporting traditional phone line service. So this is just an increased opportunity for you to offer something that's code compliant, but also much less money. So first, we'll go over some of the options on the voice over IP. Currently at Kings 3, we don't really, we monitor thousands and thousands of elevator phones, but we don't really do much with voice over IP. There's a lot of different reasons why, but just to give you some idea of some of the disadvantages of voice over IP, usually when a property decides to go voice over IP for the entire building, elevator phones are usually an afterthought. And many times the building either accidentally or puts them on voice over IP, or sometimes they don't even connect them, and the elevator phone won't work. But during a telephone change out, it's elevators are usually missed in a lot of robust projects. We've even discovered elevator phones that were left completely disconnected after a voice over IP migration. And then with just elevator phone equipment, usually most elevator phones on the market still depend on DTMF tones. So with voice over IP, we usually find inconsistent dual tone multi-frequency. So the receiving call center won't quite get the right location because it's relying on the DTMF tones. So that could affect location of the actual elevator, especially if you have multiple elevators on one consolidator and one line. They're relying on the DTMF tones to switch between the elevators. Also, you have router configuration issues. The third point there, insufficient backup battery. That's usually, it's very, with voice over IP, you just got to make sure that every single device, all the way from the internet connection to the elevator phone and every single switch in between, must be the 4-hour battery backup, or else you're not meeting the code requirements. Also, most states require that the call center can call back into the elevator. Some elevator phones don't interface well with voice over IP. And the fourth point, the phone line verification interface. Again, I mentioned that before, but the A17 2010 codes and higher require local supervision of the phone line, and an audible buzzer and light must be activated on site. So if you are going to use voice over IP, you just got to make sure that your device is compatible with that A17 2010 code. And then kind of moving over to cellular. And cellular's definitely become a technology that's winning, not only at Kings 3, but all throughout the industry. And cellular not only eliminates analog dependency, but usually we find, especially with our cellular devices, a faster connection to the dispatch center compared to POTS lines or voice over IP. And also cellular meets the A17 code for elevator communications, where some of the alternative technologies like voice over IP just don't quite meet the A17 code. And with cellular, scalability is easy, going from one unit to hundreds of units. It's a very easy technology to just scale up. Some of the key compliance factors include with cellular, especially with some of our devices, location identification, super easy. All of our cellular devices can very easily work with the existing phone line verification systems. You can have simultaneous two-way communications without sharing lines. With cellular, very easy to do the backup battery because you're just providing that backup battery to one device. So you don't need to have a multitude of different devices in the string. And also the ability to call back into the cab, and DTMF tones usually work much greater. So those are some of the key factors with cellular. Cost is also a factor as well. Cellular is very cost effective. But even outside of Kings 3, cellular is the winning technology, and it will probably be the technology that is going to be to help convert those 1 million elevators from traditional phone lines to an alternative. So why use Kings 3 cellular device in your elevator? Well, the cellular communicator that Kings 3 offers is designed to work with any elevator phone, and it utilizes the existing travel cable to bring cellular dial tone to the elevator cab from a building's telephone or machine room. In most cases, it is not necessary to even enter the elevator cab to make this transition. So we've been developing cellular products at Kings 3 for over a decade. We have a lot of different cellular devices at Kings 3. We have our M90, which is FirstNet certified. We have cellular devices that are, that can support up to 8 phones. But all of that equipment is proprietary, and in order to use that cellular equipment, you would need a Kings 3 phone in the elevator as well. What we're going to talk today about is our Elevator Connect 1000, which most of our dealers purchase from us. And this is the device that allows you to interface with the existing phone that's already in the elevator. So that's a huge point in that you don't need to really enter the elevator. You don't need to take the elevator phone out. You don't need to even think about, in some cases, getting the elevator company involved. So we have the Elevator Connect 1000, and this is our 4G LTE cellular communicator. And this has been around for a long time. It's very well known within the elevator industry. There are thousands and thousands of elevators currently communicating with this device. And with this device, we can provide accurate and reliable location ID. We have over 10 hours of battery backup. And with this device, you're going to meet and exceed all of the A17.1 communication code requirements. This device, unlike a lot of the cellular devices out there, this device is really designed and built specifically for the elevator industry. And like I said before, this is compatible with any existing elevator phone hardware. So pretty much of the existing 1 million elevators in the United States, almost all of them are analog technology. And this device is designed to work with analog emergency phones. We're going to output and kind of trick that analog phone into thinking that it's still on a traditional POTS line. So all the same characteristics, if you're a technical person, our device puts out the same phone line characteristics as a normal POTS line. You're going to be able to still have the 50 volts DC. You're still going to be able to troubleshoot and work on this with a butt set. And this will still support that analog phone for years and years to come. So again, it's compatible with the existing phone hardware, and it's going to work with all the different brands of manufacturers that have the phone line verification systems for the A17.1 2010 code and higher. So I can't stress that enough. The biggest mistake that I see some people make is they will put a cellular device on an elevator that is not meant for the elevator industry. And that cellular device will go into a state of failure, and the local supervision panel will not go off. And so that building owner is under the false sense that the elevator phone is working. And, for people that are installing these devices or integrators, that could lead to some liability issues or some lawsuits. But ultimately, you would never want to get somebody, you never want to have somebody in an elevator and that phone line is in a failure state. So just to let you know, our device is going to interface and work with those existing phone line verification systems. And there's nothing that you would have to do on your end on the installation process. You would just have the peace of mind that when you transition to our device, if it had that local supervision panel, it's going to still work. And if our device went into a failure state, the light and the buzzer would be beeping and flashing at the first floor hall elevator hall station. So currently at Kings 3, we have about 40,000 elevators and swimming pool phones on 4G communications nationwide. And again, at least at our call center, we see faster connection times with cellular. And these seconds can make a huge difference during emergencies, especially in swimming pool emergencies where seconds really count, where you may have a drowning or stuff like that. Cellular, that direct connection to the call center can be life-saving in some cases. Just one more point on the Elevator Connect 1000. As you can see, the device has about 4 LED lights on the top row and 4 LED lights on the bottom row. This device is super easy to work on. You don't need a computer. You can get all the diagnostics and performance of the system off those LEDs. And there's also a feature where you can send a text message to our device and get real-time notification of the reception, the battery strength, how many days until you got to change the battery, and if the device is plugged in or not. So a lot of our dealers and integrators are always, asking, how do I make sure this device is working? How do I make sure this is online? And we have a lot of different ways that we can do that. To give you a quick breakdown of the Elevator Connect and the parts that you're going to get, all these parts come with the device, and in addition, it also comes with a metal enclosure for installation. But you can kind of see there, comes with a plug-in transformer. You could also use third-party transformers that are 12 volts DC. Basically, it comes with a cord that has an RJ11 on one side that will give you a 2-wire connection on the other side. All of the elevator phones in the industry usually connect via just a ring and tip connection, 2 wires. And with our device, you can easily access the SIM card slot. You can easily, there's an on-off toggle switch that's very easy to access. And then if you look at the top of the device, we have our antenna port and the antenna itself. The antenna that comes with our device has a magnetic base and a 13-foot cord. And we also have a lot of antenna accessories. We can extend the antenna. We have outdoor rated antennas. We have heavy duty rated antennas. Whatever. So we have many different ways to help you get optimal signal. Also, you can't see it on this picture, but the backup battery is built into this device on the back, and it's very, very simple to access, and also very simple to change the batteries. And I mentioned before, you can actually remotely get the exact amount of days until you have to change the battery out. So that makes it very handy for maintenance and scheduled maintenance. For instance, it'll tell you, maybe 500 days or 455 days until the battery needs to be replaced. This is what the Elevator Connect 1000 would most likely look like when installed. Most of our dealers order it with this white metal enclosure, and it can be mounted, in a telephone room. Some people mount, elevator companies sometimes mount them in elevator equipment rooms. But really, with cellular technology, you can mount this device really anywhere in the building that's safe and secure. And you could always just run, a Cat 3, Cat 4, or Cat 5 cable to interface with the elevator phone. That metal enclosure that comes with the device comes with a bracket studded on already, where you can just easily hang and remove the Elevator Connect 1000. And it also has a removable hinged cover. So installation is super easy, and you don't need to worry about the cover of the enclosure getting in your way. If you look on the left, the Elevator Connect here on the left, you might see some of the lights that are on. Again, you can very easily check that you have power, you have network connection. You can very easily see if the phone line is if it's off hook or on hook, being used or not being used. And you can also get a very quick reception reading right there at the device, 1, 2, 3, or 4 bars. Okay, you could also it'll also show when there's an incoming call. You'll be able to see that right there at the unit. Most of our technicians that work on this will have a multimeter, so they can read 50 volts DC if they're troubleshooting the line, and either a simple handset with an RJ11 connection or a butt set. You can hook right onto the phone line, test it out. We enable the SIM cards to dial anybody, so a technician can call themselves to do a quick test. Gives you some really handy ways to just make sure that the Elevator Connect 1000 is working okay. So RMR potential, getting to the good stuff. So how can integrators take advantage of these trends? So while you may already be generating a portion of RMR with monitoring fees, large telecom companies that provide analog line services have historically monopolized the significant RMR potential with emergency phones when it comes to the connectivity and the communications path. Life safety companies that have emergency monitoring experience and capabilities now have the opportunity to take full advantage of the massive market potential in the elevator phone monitoring space created by this technology transition. And the EC1000 allows you to convert the phone lines of any elevator or any analog emergency phone to cellular without stepping a foot inside the elevator, and knowing that you're going to meet the code and have a reliable system. So again, there's so much potential right now in the industry. Depending on your market, there's so much opportunity to gain market share or to get a lot of RMR with elevator phones. The ability to transition a customer with a commercial POTS line to a cellular solution. The ability for that building owner to pay you instead of the phone company. If you are in the fire or life safety space, this can complement your fire alarm business so well. Elevator phones, just like fire alarm panels, extremely well regulated. They always have to work. The customer, must always have that elevator phone working. It's an extremely sticky product. And again, maybe you were just monitoring elevator phones before, making maybe $15 to $25 per account. Now you can monetize the phone line. You can really get some really big chunky RMR numbers, and you can be the hero in the eyes of your customer. So where else can the EC1000 bring your customers value and your businesses more revenue? In addition to elevator emergency phones, many states require emergency two-way communications for swimming pools and areas of rescue. And the codes for these two, for swimming pools and area rescues, they're a little bit different than elevator phones, but they're also similar in many ways. Most of them must be answered by authorized personnel, usually a call center. And 38 out of 50 states require an emergency phone at public pool areas. So that's pretty significant. There's some states out there, Texas is one of them, where swimming pool phones is a big business. The EC1000 can utilize existing copper running to the pool area or simply a power outlet located at the pool area to provide an all-inclusive solution to your customers. Other areas for emergency phones include parking garages, fitness centers, of course, areas of rescues. I'm sure everyone knows the campus blue lights. These are all opportunities. As long as those phones are analog, the EC1000 can be interfaced with almost all those different brands. Ultimately, for questions and code requirements in your specific area, especially for pools and area of rescue, definitely check your local area, your local AHJ. But in addition, please reach out to Kings 3. And again, you can find more information on our website. We have a really great code compliance page, goes through all 50 states, and it tells you about the code requirements for elevators and for swimming pool phones. In addition, especially for elevators, you could reach directly out to me. Any code question, I could definitely help you out. So these are just some of the examples of where the EC1000 can be used. There's a emergency phone on the bottom left for a fitness center. On the top right, there's a swimming pool phone, and on the bottom right, there's your typical tower phone with the blue light on top. Some of our dealers are using the EC1000 for telephone entry systems. And yeah, just a lot of different uses for sure. And just to give you some brief history of Kings 3, we've been in the emergency phone industry since 1989, and we design and assemble all types of our own emergency phone equipment. And all of our phone equipment at Kings 3 is ADA compliant.
Basically, to add on to Tom's point, they can definitely be used for multiple applications throughout your customers' properties, and they're very easy to program remotely. So the EC1000 you'll order directly through our dealer program. We actually just rolled out a portal this year for our dealers where they're able to go in there, order their devices, check on them, and you'll have them all in one snapshot there.
But yeah, with our emergency dispatch center, we have a call center located in our headquarters.
We specialize in elevator entrapments and emergency pool phone calls. That's what all of our operators are trained specifically to do. We don't handle any other, we're not like an answering service. We're an elevator company, anything like that. The calls come directly to our call center for help. We also record and store audio for every call that we take for a minimum of 3 years so that your customers are able to come in there. If they need something pulled up from a few years ago, we'll have that for them. We're able to translate over 170 languages through our language line that we have direct access to. We're definitely fully equipped to monitor the new video and text code that Tom was talking about. With our software that we have, it brings up a link that the operator will click on, and they're able to bring up that video feed that gives snapshots of what's going on in the elevator every second or two, I believe it is. And then obviously the ability to communicate with them through the yes and no questions through the screen. It automatically tells us where they're at in the building, which elevator they're in, what address they're at, everything like that. And we currently, in our monitoring station, monitor over 100,000 of these emergency phones nationwide at pools, area of rescue, elevators, everything.
Yep, thanks a lot, Cole. And the dealer program here at Kings 3 is growing rapidly. And so, we're looking for more long-term partners who want to grow their business with Kings 3. The industry shift from POTS lines to cellular networks for emergency communications has opened up a lot of new RMR opportunities, and we've seen our dealer program grow a lot. And so what does becoming a Kings 3 authorized dealer mean for you? Really eliminate, with our technology, you can confidently go into buildings and in a code compliant manner. You can eliminate your customer's dedicated phone line, saving them money. The building owner is going to pay you for the dial tone, not the phone company. You can really leverage the Kings 3 technology to expand your product portfolio and grow RMR. And you can really grow a lot of revenue from your existing customers, especially if you have customers that have already gone cellular or radio mesh for the fire and burglar alarm. You can really complement that, eliminating huge creation costs. And with our Kings 3 dealer program, you can take advantage of our code experts and our technical and sales support. We have unlimited pre-sales support and unlimited over-the-phone technical support. And also, depending on if you need, you can use our state-of-the-art emergency dispatch center, or our Elevator Connect 1000 also allows you to route the emergency call to any central station. And the dealer program at Kings 3 is one part of Kings 3, but just realize that Kings 3 has solutions and different parts of the business. We have reliable emergency phone hardware. So again, we've been making and assembling actual phone hardware since 1989. We have innovative cellular solutions. Now most of our products are 4G LTE, and now we monitor over 40,000 of our elevators are now cellular across the United States. We have a state-of-the-art emergency dispatch center. I went over that. Our Kings 3 operators are AEMD and Red Cross CPR certified, and we're really trained to handle a wide range of emergencies, focusing mostly on elevators and swimming pools. That's what we can do really, really well. We emergency communication code experts. So we have multiple people at Kings 3 that have been involved in the A17 code committees. We are always staying on top of the upcoming changes to communication requirements. So that's another good thing to know. Partnering with Kings 3, we're always going to know the code and always be ahead of the upcoming code changes. We have our dealer program at Kings 3. That's what we just went over today. In our dealer program, we offer technology to dealer partners so that they can install and service and increase their RMR and grow their customer base by utilizing our cellular solutions. And we also have a partner program. The Kings 3 partner program is more of a referral-based program. And with that, Kings 3 partners with several types of businesses, ranging from elevator companies to swimming pool companies, with the goal of relieving them of the emergency phone headache. This is a referral-based program for businesses that would rather not deal with emergency phones at all, including the monitoring. So again, a lot of elevator companies fit into that bucket. Not every elevator company likes dealing with elevator phones. So you might be one of those companies, and you could be you could fit into our partner program. Or if you were more interested in getting the equipment and installing it yourselves and controlling it more, you can be in our dealer program. And I think with that, we can get some questions. I know I covered a lot. I thank everyone for hanging in there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Tom. So let me take a look at some of the questions that have come in. This one's a little bit long, but I'm going to read it for context. You say the elevator code requires that there is a local alarm in the elevator that indicates the phone is not working. How is that configured when using your cellular phone? We have installed them, but don't believe that was part of the elevator equipment. Does the elevator equipment check the line periodically, and would that apply to a cellular phone? Kings 3.
Yeah, that's a great question. So the local supervision requirement, let's just so everyone's aware, it would not be every elevator. It would only be elevators that have to meet the 2010 code or higher. Now, with those elevators, all that supervision panel, the light that flashes, the buzzer that beeps, all of that would already be installed. And you wouldn't have to do anything from the installation point of view. But our device is able to trip those supervision panels when we have a failure. So that existing equipment will be compatible and work with our Elevator Connect 1000, and you won't have to rewire anything. You'll just have to switch the elevator phone from the traditional phone line or whatever other communication it was on to our device.
Perfect. Thank you, Tom. Another question, do you bring your own SIM/carrier?
So with our dealer program, the SIM card would be included with the device, and you would be able to go into our portal, and you would be able to activate the device right there. You have full control through our portal on activation and deactivation of the SIM card, and you can kind of manage it from there. You could also order equipment with the SIM card pre-activated to where it'll show up to you and the device is all ready to go, ready for installation right away.
And we do offer AT&T and T-Mobile on these devices.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, another question. You mentioned a local supervisory panel or a phone line verification system. What did you mean by that? Is that a separate piece of equipment?
Yeah, that is a separate piece of equipment. It's back to that 2010 code requirement, and that piece of equipment would already be built into the elevator equipment. The actual, this when the supervision panel finds out that there's a failure, the actual alarm that is triggered, the light and the buzzer that beeps and flashes, that takes place on the main, the main floor of egress where the hallway push button would be for the elevator. So the alarm is not inside the elevator, it's outside the elevator, usually like on the first floor or the main lobby floor. And it's a pretty loud beep and flash, and it says elevator communications failure.
Thank you, Tom. Another question, can the Kings 3 be programmed to send to a different monitoring station? Can we do that without using your monitoring station?
Absolutely. Yep. Our call center central station is optional. You don't need to use it at all. The majority of our fire and life safety companies actually use third-party central stations, and yep, we're currently most all the big central stations are monitoring elevators with our device. And we can even, as I said before, we have a technical support. We can even help your technicians program and get the call to hit that central station.
Thank you. What is the code requirement for backup battery for elevator phones?
Yeah, so for elevator phones, it's a 4-hour battery backup, and that pertains to every single piece of equipment that would be supporting the elevator phone.
Perfect, thank you. And how many elevators does the Support Elevator Connect 1000 support per device?
Yeah, another great question. So the Elevator Connect 1000 is really designed to be a one-for-one. It's designed to work for one elevator. Now, having said that, there are elevators that groups of elevators that have consolidation equipment. So the Elevator Connect 1000, when used with a consolidator, could support more phones. And that would be, it could get a little tricky with multiple elevators. That's where I would probably advise you to get with us on our pre-sale support. We can help you project by project, determine whether you need one elevator connect per elevator or whether you could, have multiple elevators on one.
Awesome. Do you guys have a portal to view our accounts and order equipment?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a portal that you can order equipment, activate equipment, deactivate equipment, and kind of get a snapshot of all your accounts. So and Cole, who's on the call right now, is our main support on the portal. So yeah.
Thank you so much. Let me see. I believe there's one more question. Which code does the Elevator Connect 1000 for GLTE meet?
So again, every product at Kings 3, our engineers design our products to meet the A17.1 elevator code. And there's many different versions of the A17 code. But the Elevator Connect for voice communications is code compliant with all the codes from 2022 down.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tom. I believe that's all the questions. Let me double check to make sure we haven't had any more come in while we were answering those. Oh, we did. There's a few more. We have a few more minutes. Can you give any general cost of this unit?
I would just recommend that you reach out to me. We could give you some very good costs. The Elevator Connect 1000 is only available through our dealership program, and we only sell that to elevator companies or life safety companies. So it's not really a device that we sell to the general public. But yeah, get in touch with me. I can get you all the pricing very fast.
Thank you. And how long is the cellular antenna in case reception isn't strong in the equipment room?
So yeah, the antenna that comes with it has about a 13-foot cord. And in addition, we have a wide range of accessories. We have antenna extenders. You can buy a 25 or 50-foot cable extender, and you could really, and then we have other types of antennas as well. We have outdoor rated antennas and more heavy duty rated antennas. So usually there's plenty of ways to overcome bad reception. And Cole mentioned it before as well. Our devices come with AT&T and T-Mobile SIM cards. So you have a little bit of flexibility in case one of those carriers don't have good reception.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much, Tom. I believe now that is all the questions. We are coming to the end of our time together. So I don't. Is there anything else that either of you would like to add before closing out this time?
I just want to say thank you to ESA. It's always fun to talk elevators. And I just anyone that has additional questions, please reach out to me via phone or email. I'd love to talk to you.
Sounds great. Well, thank you so much, Tom, and thank you so much, Cole. And thanks to everyone who joined the webinar today. We do apologize for some of the technical issues we had. And we will be posting this recording within the next 24 hours. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thank you so much.